A spate of hands-on previews of the Quarry's second and third chapters went up, allowing us to get a look at some brand new footage. And Redditor Ferret was kind enough to assemble a timeline of nearly everything that happens in them. So, fair warning, this is going to be non-stop spoilers from here on out. No more theories and guesses. This is what happens in the game. Along with some theories and guesses, obviously. But mostly spoilers, starting now. The people previewing the game apparently did only check out chapters 2 and 3, so the preview opens with some information from chapter 1. Specifically, that Jacob is the one that sabotaged the van because, as we guessed, he was sad about Emma breaking up with him and wanted another night with her. This, of course, leads to the never meant for this to happen line from the trailer at some point. I would have preferred if it was Abigail as a nice surprise, but this is still a great setup for the rest of the game. Especially since Caitlin's bio mentions that she knows about tinkering with cars, suggesting she might be the one to be able to fix the van later on. It turns out the Peanut Butter Pops, the cereal mentioned in the game and BYB podcast, actually play a role in the game, as they're the prize in a shooting competition that forms the QTE tutorial. That's right. Performing well in this shooting section will determine whether Nick gets some delicious cereal, which may or may not be vitally important to one of the endings. But it probably isn't. The previews also confirm that Eliza will, like Dr. Hill in Until Dawn, be showing up between chapters to read tarot cards and let the players see a possible future in her crystal ball. This is a pretty solid confirmation that the premonition system will look very different from what we're used to in Until Dawn and the Dark Pictures games. Apparently this time players can find the key items, tarot cards, but they need an expert to explain what they mean. Then we get a rundown on the beach bonfire scene, which is apparently built around a tense game of truth or dare. In this scene, it's possible for Ryan to kiss Dylan, so we've got the possible gay relationship confirmed. But more importantly, Emma can be dared to kiss Jacob or Nick. And if she kisses Nick, a bunch of drama ensues, with Jacob running off to cry at the dock, as we've already seen, and Abigail freaking out and running into the woods. Emma and Nick each go to track one of them down, leaving Ryan, Dylan, and Caitlin alone at the fire. As they should be. People with names that have a Y in them and end with an N have to stick together, obviously. It's not clear whether the Emma drama is based on a choice or not, but presumably if Emma kisses Jacob instead of Nick, we would end up in the same basic location, with Jacob and Emma heading off to the dock together and Nick and Abigail going for a walk in the woods. The previews don't mention what happens with Emma and Jacob at the dock, but it seems Jacob can decide whether to investigate a scream he hears in the woods, possibly leading to the snaring scene, or dive in to look for the van part that apparently ended up in the lake. Not sure how that happened. Did he drop it while hiding it, or is he a complete idiot and throws it in on purpose despite the fact that he's going to need it tomorrow? Probably the first option. Also, if the various van parts are findable, does this lead to the duck out on the actual finale ending that was hinted at? Can you fix the van? If he dives into the water, he can discover the corpse, which may or may not be Benson, under the water, which apparently counts as evidence of what's going on in the camp, which is going to affect the ending based on what the characters are able to tell the police about the events of that night. In the woods, Abigail can either hide from or have the almost kiss scene with Nick, but no matter what happens, Nick gets attacked by the monster, and Abigail has to decide whether to intervene to help him or run off back to the beach. This, of course, mirrors the daytime scene that's presumably in Chapter 1, when Abigail ticks off an angry boar and Nick has to decide whether to try to save her or not. Helping him leads to some QTEs, and the previews are very unclear over what exactly can happen here. Some suggest that Abigail can die right in this scene, while others seem to think that if she misses all of her QTEs, Bobby will show up with a rifle and shoot the monster, and only Nick can die in this scene. This looks like something we're just going to have to test out for ourselves once the game is actually out. Whether it's because they hear the noise or Abigail gets back on the beach looking for help, Ryan and company grab their shotgun and go looking for Nick, finding him just as Bobby is dragging him away. This is where we get the single biggest theory confirmed in the preview. Apparently, the monster will turn you into a creature if it bites you. We know this because during the confrontation with Bobby, Nick, who has been mauled, can bite Bobby's finger in an attempt to escape, and Bobby's reaction to this will be to blow his own finger off, presumably to prevent an infection from spreading. So either supernatural werewolves or some kind of super body warping rabies, basically confirmed. While it's true that Max was clawed in the prologue, but not necessarily bitten, we don't know the exact rules of werewolf infection just yet, and it's entirely possible that this monster is a transformed Max or Laura, depending on how the prologue plays out. Sadly, there's no news about whether we get another Eliza scene after the showdown with Bobby, although that seems to be a given based on how Supermassive Games likes to format these. In addition to these previews, a new video explaining the various ways of playing the Quarry just came out. This is the same one that was accidentally leaked earlier this week, and there's precious little new information in it, sadly. Note that the online voting mode has been delayed and will not be part of the game on launch, and is instead going to come out on or by July 8th. Just like the 80s retro costumes. I have to assume that this is a technical issue, because this is a pretty cool feature that you'd want to launch the game with if you could. Unless, of course, you don't need to buy a copy of the game to be a passive voter, in which case, this might just be a clever marketing gimmick to ensure they don't massively sabotage their first month's sales by effectively letting 8 people play the game for the price of 1 copy. Also, we get a firm look at the movie night mode, and when the players are selecting which party member controls which character, there's only 8 options. And we see Laura, but no Max. This suggests that since we've been told that all 9 counselors are playable, and we've seen a director's chair screen for Max, that it's possible that we'll end up with a situation where either Laura or Max survives the prologue, with the other one either dying or becoming a monster. Presumably, this means that the survivor is chosen based on Laura's decision in the prologue, and if it's Max that survives to become playable later, the player who picked Laura in movie night will also get to be Max. So, lots of huge news that's only got me more excited for the Quarry. Now, before we go, let's look at 4 fun things. First off is the book that inspires Jacob to say he doesn't like horror. Slaughter by Sunrise, which is of course another way of saying Dead by Dawn, which is Evil Dead 2's subtitle. In addition to being a fantastic film, Evil Dead 2 was Ted Raimi's first screen credit when he played Henrietta, the monster in the basement. Next is the list of names that Supermassive Games gave for the voting demonstration. There's Mr. Marshmallow for the campfire theme, Harbinger Hal referencing the concept and motel, Ghostly Ghost, which is just cute, and Camper. Here's a fun note from the game's IMDb page. No secret characters or actors that haven't been announced, but check this out. Apparently they've hired a Rod Serling sound-alike to be in the game. Now, we've already seen a clip of a TV showing black and white footage. In this case, a bit from Night of the Living Dead. Will the TV also have a clip from The Twilight Zone? If so, it's interesting that instead of picking an existing clip, they decided to write their own and hire a sound-alike. Possibly because they couldn't find a clip that tied in as well with the Quarry's plot as they would have liked. This will be an exciting thing to look for in the game. Finally, I don't know why it took me so long to notice this, but when Laura looks at the broken trailer sign, she knows that it's for Silas the dog boy, even though the sign profoundly doesn't say Silas anywhere on it, just dog boy. Oh, and it seems to be confirmed in the previews that yes, Eliza is the Hag of Hackett's quarry, although we don't actually know what that means yet. Thanks again to Ferret for putting all of this information in one place. I've been the Hidden Object Guru, thanks for watching. If you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. If you'd like to support the channel, consider checking out our Patreon. You can join heroic patrons like Marissa, Joanne, Eduardo, Brian, and Archer in helping keep the lights on around here. If you'd like to see more, there's nightly streams and plenty of videos to check out. We'll see you back here for the next thing, but until then, au revoir.